Hey, what it do, y'all? Leave no witness back with another video. Before I start this video, I just want to let everybody know that this is a horrible story, it is disgusting, but at the same time, I think people should see this because, especially if you have kids, because this is one of the most sickest cases that I've ever came across. And the sad part about it is one of these sick pedophiles I went to school with. And I'll say this now. He's at school, he was never right in the head anyway. He walked a lot around, the town. Everywhere he went, you seen him walking while we had, mostly other kids have bikes and stuff. But he would always be walking. Even when I got older, and got a car and stuff, I would still see this kid walking around, even when he got a little bit older. And he did. Thank God that he ended up ODing, but he didn't die. So, but let me before I show you, I just want y'all to know that this is very very disgusting. It's definitely mature audiences only, and if you can handle stuff like this, I don't know correct way to say it, but it's just a sick story, case, whatever you want to call it, all together. Okay, so let's get to it. As you can see, the title: two men. Right here they are, two Florida men. This is the one that I went to school with. This bald-headed, you could just tell he looks like a fucking pedophile, right? Okay, two Florida men accused of plotting to groom and rape a 3-year-old girl. Okay, I'm gonna tell you now what they did. Is they had text messages between each other, right? And I'm gonna show you some of those text messages towards the end. But first, I'm gonna read you the article. Volusia County, Florida. Two men have been arrested after police discovered a series of text messages in which the two men discussed plans to groom and rape a 3-year-old girl. His name was Leif Best, 37. He was arrested Tuesday and is in the Volusia County Branch Jail without bond, thank God. This happened also a little while back. This happened probably a couple, I'd say maybe 2 years ago. 2019 it happened. So 4 years ago, this happened. And this is the one that I think that was his name, or it was Worcester. This guy, one of the two. But he was arrested Tuesday and is in the Volusia County Branch Jail without bond. He is charged with conspiracy to commit sexual battery on a child. He was arrested in connection to a different case involving his friend and sexual partner. Oh yeah, this is the one that I knew, Benjamin Worcester. This because he was the worst one out of these. They're both horrible, but out of the two, he was the worst one. 39, according to a Facebook post from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. Worcester was arrested in January on charges of lewd and lascivious molestation, lewd or lascivious conduct, and 21 counts of possession of child pornography. Okay, now before I go any further, what I'm going to tell you is what happened was, right? Okay, there was a girl that was renting a room from him, and she had a daughter. All right, so that's pretty much what they're going to get into. When they began investigating, because what happened was is he OD'd but came back, but while he OD'd, the little girl's mother had a feeling because I guess a previous altercation happened where she brought, like, the little girl brought it to the mother's attention, but I guess the mother brushed it off. Maybe she was doing drugs too. He OD'd. He's a piece of shit. He's a pedophile doing drugs. She's renting a room from him. I'm sure she's not. I'm not knocking her at all. I don't know the girl. But I would, when your daughter tells you something, 3-year-old, you should have went with that from the first one. But she didn't act on it. But when he OD'd, she did. She got his phone and went through it. And when she went through it, she discovered a series of text messages between him and this other guy, Leif Best. And these messages are the most disgusting things that I had, literature that I have ever read in my life. And I'm going to read them to you here at the end. I just wanted to give you the background of what happened and how this mother found out that what they were planning on doing to her daughter. And like I said, he was renting a room to this lady, to this girl and her daughter. They were first discovered by the girl's mother, the 3-year-old, and her mother. I'm gonna quit smoking, I swear. Mother moved into Worcester's apartment in December. Police said on Facebook that soon after the 3-year-old mother, the 3-year-old told her mother Worcester had touched her. So, like I said, the daughter had already said something. Kept going out. The 3-year-old and her mother, they moved in on December. Shortly after that, the 3-year-old told her mother, hey, this guy just touched me. She never reported it. She didn't do anything about it, I believe. On December 17th, Worcester was taken to the hospital after an apparent overdose. Like I was saying, he OD'd. The 3-year-old's mother found his phone laying on his bed and discovered the text messages. That's a miracle, lady. That was like a miracle. Like, God literally saved your daughter of the most horrible. And you could tell that they've done this before. This was not their first rodeo. You could tell by the text messages. And they're supposed to be lovers at the same time. But I don't even know how two pedophiles click up. Like, how do you even start that conversation? Like, hey, what's up? You like little girls? Yeah. Like, what? I don't even know how the fuck that even happens. How do you know? I mean, you can look at people and tell, by some of them. You can tell. Also, I'm coming up with an updated version of the Epstein's flight logs list because I was sent by Darlene, another supporter of mine, information that shows a lot more people that were on that flight log. Also, a lot more information about the flight logs. So, shout out to her. Okay, let's get back to this now. Police included a portion of the text messages in their Facebook post to demonstrate how predators work to groom young children for sexual abuse. And that's why I'm showing this video, is so people can, see this for themselves. And maybe after watching this, if your daughter says something, go with it. Don't maybe, put it off as it might have happened, or always take it as it's true, especially if they look something like this, But like I said, she could have been on drugs, and, but wasn't down with him doing anything to her daughter. But, she didn't know until she figured out, until her daughter said something. They executed a search warrant at Best's residence Tuesday and discovered what appeared to be child pornography on his cell phone, in addition to graphic text exchanged with Worcester, police said. They expect Bess will face additional charges. Bess was living in a home. Listen to this. The other pedophile now, not Worcester, but the other one. I believe this one is Best, and this one is Worcester. Does it say? I guess not. I can't. What? But this is the other one now. The other one, he lived in a home with two people who have a 20-month-old child. And police do not believe the 20-month-old was a victim of any abuse at this time. But I have done research, and it turns out there was. But at the time, they didn't suspect anything had happened to the 20-month-old child. But after further investigating, it came out like a year later. He was charged. I seen his charges, and he had new charges added onto it for a child that was like just like 20 months old or something like that. So that has to be the same kid. So even though at this time they weren't sure, but now it's come out that he did do something to this 20-month-old child. He was living in a home, and there was two people, and it was a mother, probably a mother and a father, and they had a 20-month-old child, and, you know, like I said, they didn't believe it was a victim. Okay, now, what I want to show you is the text messages, alright? This is really horrible. This is, like, bad. Ormond man arrested in plot to rape 3-year-old girl. Warning, difficult to read and not for young audiences. So I'm going to repeat that. Difficult to read and not for young adults. I mean audiences. It's not even for some adults, I would think, because this is horrible. Like, I've already gone through this, you know. So, and here is his name, date of birth, his address. His arrest stems from another case, you know, probably involving, you know, another kid. That case was prompted by the discovery of text messages. Okay, so here it goes. A portion of they didn't show all the text messages, because they were just, some of them were just too much. These are too much, if you ask me. One was Worcester. He says, single mom and has a 3-year-old daughter. And she's not a very good mom. And she ignores her daughter constantly. And second day of meeting her daughter, she ran up to me. She ran up to give me a hug and buried her head right in my crotch. And so I'm going to get to work on that. So I can't stress this as much, too much. If you have any kid, you have to be careful with even who they hug nowadays. Now, ever since I have read this, I don't allow my stepdaughter, I don't allow her to hug any strangers. I'm really protective over even some family, you know, hugging her. And my son at that. You know. So, this is another reason why I'm putting this out here, because it shows you the mind of a pedophile, what they're thinking, and their plan, you know, on what to do to a little girl and how they do it. Like I said, I don't know how two people like this even meet and that conversation comes up. Hey, do you like to rape little girls? You know, it's just crazy to me. Alright, and remember, like I said, I can't stress enough, watch who trust on who your daughter or son gives a hug to. Because this guy is so sick that when she gave him a hug, he was so happy that she buried her head right into his crotch. And then he said after that, I'm going to get to work on that. That's just horrible. I hope these people get killed in prison. And then Worcester said, and at 3, this is the same guy. I guess this was the guy, like I said, Worcester, the bald-headed one, I'm pretty sure. And he's the one who had the house that he was renting to this lady who had this. She was a single mom who had a 3-year-old daughter. And he also continues to say, and because the little girl was at 3 years, she was only 3 years old. And at 3 years old, I'm working with memories that won't stick. No, I'm not even gonna repeat it. Only a pedophile, sick motherfucker would think of some shit like that. You know, it's just crazy to me. I knew people like this existed. I just never knew. You never really see them get caught like this. They're really good at like covering their tracks, or it's not. It's on their computer and police confiscate it, and then we don't ever get to see really or hear what was on that computer. But this was text messages between them, so, and the police felt like they should put it out so people will see how these pedophiles think and what you should be aware of. Especially when he's talking about memories that won't stick at the age of 3 years old. Think I might casually, accidentally let her see it a few times, which we all know what he's talking about. See how she reacts. Maybe bring her by to watch a movie at your place when your roommates aren't home. Get her used to you too. Look, they're grooming this girl. They're getting her to like meet this other pedophile, so she gets in good with him and starts to trust him. It's crazy. I'm looking up, and then Worcester says, I'm looking up things under an anonymous browser on things that will safely make kids pass out for a couple of hours. Come on, like, that's like some Casey Anthony shit. If y'all know who Casey Anthony is, she's the one that killed her daughter with chloroform and got away with it. She like put it on a rag probably and put it around her face just to knock her out. So probably so she can go out and party. And then her daughter died from it, and she ended up getting away with it. It's crazy. And he's talking about he's using an anonymous browser. And then the other guy says, I can't wait. LOL. Like, piece of shit. Like, and then Worcester says, me either. And gotta take this opportunity while I can. At my age, who knows when something like this will land in my lap again. I'm telling y'all, this is very hard to hear. The other guy says, I know, right? I've got all kinds of visions dancing in my head right now. LOL. Please, somebody kill these people in prison. Then the same guy said, would love to bury my tongue in some little, we already know it's been redacted, but we know what he says, among other things. LOL. This is between two grown fucking men, alright? This is between two grown fucking men. Can you believe this? Alright? You never know if her junkie mom, I'm not saying that she is or not, because I don't know, these people, they're scum of the earth. Who knows what if they're telling the truth or not. But the little girl did tell you that she touched him. You should have did something then, lady. But luckily it didn't get to this. You never know if her junkie mom can't come up with rent one month. She might just give her to you. With LOL, wishful thinking. Which makes me think that, like, people have already done. To think like that, I believe they have had kids where the mom allowed them to do it for either drugs or maybe a rent in the past. Maybe that has happened in the past where, this has happened. Why bring, like, only pedophiles could think of stuff like this because, like I said, I could never in a million years even think about that. These people have been like this their whole life, and there's no telling how many victims are out there. So that's another reason why I want to say this. If you know these people, come out and say it now. They're in prison, but they can stay in there. They're gonna never get out. Hopefully, I have to look it up because he was going back to court for the other one. So now he says you never know with her junkie mom, and then he said I'd prefer awake if we can manage it without repercussions. He prefers the little girl awake if they can manage it. Like I said, you put chloroform, it knocks the girl out, or maybe roofie her with some type of roofie drug. I'm not sure. And then the other one, Worcester, he says, yeah, but beggars can't be choosers and gotta fill this one out and see what she's like and how she can keep secrets and how easily she can be trained before I worry about the drastic things. Buddy, you should have thought about the drastic things before you even wrote these messages because it never happened, thank God. This little girl, all she happened was she got touched. Thank God that God made this guy OD for a little bit and then come back to it. But this is just crazy. He wants to see how good she can keep secrets and be trained before he does something that drastic. Then he goes on to say, but I'm over 100% sure I can at least get her knocked out alone and naked to at least fondle and defile to my heart's content. Now tell me, these aren't the two worst people that you have ever heard about in your life. Literally, like, these are scum of the earth people. These are the type of people that should get the death penalty. That's why we have it. Not for some of these ones that, well, I don't think there's anybody on death penalty for drugs. But, I think this is worse than even killing somebody's pretty bad. I think it would be, killing somebody, it just depends if revenge, like, kill somebody like this, you shouldn't definitely get the penalty. You should get a hero medal. Anyway, on Friday, the state's attorney's office, okay, did I finish this one? At least fondle and defile her to my heart is content. On Friday, the state's attorney's office notified a sheriff's detective of Best's involvement in the Worcester case, and the sheriff's office took over that aspect of the investigation, as Best lives in an area of Ormond that falls inside county jurisdiction. Sheriff's detective executed a warrant at Best's residence on Tuesday and discovered what happened to be child pornography on his cell phone in addition to his text messages with Worcester. Additional charges are expected as the evidence is forensically examined and the investigation continues. Like I said, they were still adding charges onto these people even a year after this happened in 2020. They were still putting charges on him. Like I said, I believe he did something to the 20-month-old. Did I read this in child pornography? Yep. Best was living in a home with two people who have a child who's about 20 months old. At this time, it's not believed he was a victim of any abuse, but he was, I believe. However, authorities will continue to follow up as the investigation continues. Following forensic examination of evidence in this case, Leif Best has been charged with 11 counts of possession of sexual performance by a child. Okay, so I think maybe, no, I don't know if it's with the 20-month-old, because I remember it was like a year after that. Oh, it was update 2021. Or no, 2/21/19. Yeah, 2021. So yeah, he did do something. Like, he ended up with 11 more counts because I believe it was on that 20-month-old. So yeah, I just wanted to show this. Just want to also, the Volusia County Sheriff said, just want to say it was difficult to post some of these details on Facebook, and we really do apologize to anyone, and this comes from me too, anyone who finds it offensive and disturbing. It absolutely is. The reason for posting it was not to shock or offend, but to show the type of grooming behavior that takes place when a predator has access to a child. Please be alert. That's why I was saying I'm very, very strict on like who my stepdaughter and son can even hug, and they're grown, like, so. But if you have little ones, and they ever tell you anything like somebody touched them, just go with it. I already know most of y'all will. But this also just gives you an idea of what these people think, the planning that they're thinking on doing. And again, how do two people like this even become friends? And no, like, there must be some kind of pedophile radar that goes off when they get near each other. I have no clue. There's got to be something that I just don't know. But this is definitely too much for my YouTube channel, so this will be on my Patreon. So probably Jessica, my shout out to my Patreon that I got, my patron that I have right now. I only got one, but I'm not sure if you become patrons, if you're able to see all my content or just content from when you join and then on. I'm not sure. So, when I get more patrons, y'all will probably, I'm pretty sure, be able to see this. So, and when you do, let me give a shout out to Jessica Lane for being my first patron. You are the best. All y'all, I love all the love and support that y'all been giving me lately, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video and maybe learn or not learn, but are now more aware of what these people think, how they act, what they're planning on doing. This guy said he would prefer her to be awake. And then the guy says beggars can't be choosers, or beggars can't be choosers, or something like that. And this was just a single mom looking for a room for her daughter and her. Just a room to rent. And you took advantage of that. You sick fuck. Excuse my language. I'm very sorry, but this type of stuff here just gets my blood boiling. You know what I mean? It makes me want to go out if I was still in that area, but I'm not. But if I was, I got up out of there. I know so many stories from this area that I'm going to be telling y'all. But yeah, I had to get up out of there a long time ago. That place was just as bad as Chicago. So yeah, I had to get up out of there as well. Like, when I got out of Chicago, and then I had to get out of there when I got older. But yeah, and while I was there, I know tons of people and stories that are just horrible. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you for all the love and support. And this is Leave No Witness, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.